Kick back and relax with Mark and Carol as they describe Beverly Hills 90210. So as you can see, this is a brand new thing, but also sort of an old thing. Carol and I have decided to spin off the 90210 series and do its own series itself, which will come out every Monday, as you can see. We don't have openings for this because these were originally part of the original episodes that we did of Massive Late Fee. So this is a brand new opening, welcoming you to the show. Enjoy this episode of 90210. So this week we are continuing our coverage, or whatever you want to call it, our reviewing of 90210. We're on episode 3. Carol, why don't you tell us what the episode was about this week?
Sure. So Brandon, yet again, practices saying no.
Like you got his name right, which is good.
Yeah, like the good after-school special boy that he is. Episode starts off with Okay, well, I'm trying to think about how it actually started off, but I know like Steve Sanders. Oh yeah, his dream. He dreamt about surfing.
Yeah, about going to the beach.
Yeah, he was. It was kind of a funny shot too, because it's just showing like all this water dripping down his face. Like you can tell it's supposed to be hot, like sexy hot, not hot. And it's not, in my opinion. I don't know. He's not. He does not do it.
No, he's too pretty.
Yeah, he would have made a really pretty girl.
Yep.
But he's not a manly man.
Although I guess it makes sense that he is twins with Brenda. Don't you think that twins that are male and female, don't you think one usually looks more masculine than the average of the gender, the female, or the male looks more feminine than the average of the gender?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think I've had that much experience to speak to that.
That's my non-expert opinion.
But okay, so he wakes up having dreamt about surfing.
And some blonde chick.
Yeah. And then Steve Sanders' mom asks him to make friends with David Silver.
Yeah, his mom, who we never see.
Yeah, all off screen.
She's like John Forsythe. I guess he's Bosley.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think the point here is we never see her, and neither does he. You know.
Okay.
It's kind of
taking it deep.
Well, I mean, he's talked about it all the time.
Yeah, but you are giving the director or the writer, giving them credit to have that kind of a profound thought as to how they present this character.
I guess.
Because start watching at one point. He starts watching her show, which he says he never watches, but we still don't see her. We just see her name.
Yeah.
I guess that's supposed to imply that's the only way he can see her.
Maybe, or I really think he was just watching it for the first time because David keeps talking about how great it is.
Maybe.
So she's asking him to make friends with David because his dad is Mel Silver, the producer. And so I guess he is producing some films she thinks that, he would have a part for her in. So she wants David to basically make an introduction or Steve to make her an introduction through David. So he actually, even though he's acting like, he would never do it or whatever, he actually does go out of his way to try to talk to David and starts trying to make friends with him. And then when he tries to reap the benefits of the work he's put into that relationship, he says, hey, maybe, me and my mom, since you're such a fan, and you and your dad could all get together for lunch. And he's like, oh, well, yeah, but let's make it dinner because he's usually in surgery in the afternoon.
Right.
What kind of surgery does he do? I thought he was a producer. Well, no, he's an oral surgeon.
Yeah, Mel Silver. He's like, your dad's Mel Silver, right? He's like, yeah, Mel Silver. And he says, Mel Silver, the producer. And he says, no, Mel Silver, the oral surgeon.
Right. And then, Steve is so mean because he's just like, I wasted all this time on the wrong kid, and storms off.
Yeah, the wrong dork, I think.
The wrong dork, yeah,
or
you're
dweeb,
right.
Or something like that, he says.
Something insulting. So, that's kind of the end of that little B story for the episode. So Brandon then is, oh gosh, okay. He is talking to David and his little blonde friend, whose name I can never remember.
It's just the blonde friend.
Oh, David wasn't there?
No, it's the one that it just goes away at some point. Yeah, he goes into, I guess it's a computer lab. I mean, we don't have one at our school. I guess they're pretty posh.
Well, yeah, I've heard like the private schools in like Birmingham have them.
Yeah, for sure they do. But he's creating the perfect floor plan for a dance club.
That he's never been to a dance club.
Right, but he's using his imagination to figure out what the perfect floor plan for a dance club would be. So, he's like, Brandon goes and sits down, and these two, like, meatheads come out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. These, like, jocks, and they start harassing him. Brandon tells him to stop, and then all of a sudden, first appearance of Luke Perry.
Finally, Dylan.
He swings around and instantly looks like James Dean, and basically threatens him. Says, "Hey, I got bad news. I'm not in a good mood today." Like all this stuff, and they're like, "Whoa."
Yeah, it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. I mean, he didn't even threaten them. He's not a big dude. Like, they were bigger than him, and there's two of them.
They're intimidated by him. It's the attitude,
I guess.
And so they scram, and then Brandon goes to seek him out while he's reading a book.
Yeah, he's sitting on the steps of the school reading, and somehow they end up going off together. They're like, Brandon has a free period. He wants to buy him lunch.
Yeah. Let's do lunch.
And so, Dylan thinks that's dumb, I guess, and said they go surfing. So his dream comes true when he meets this pretty blonde girl there at the beach that's friends with Dylan and a couple other guys.
Yeah, what's her name?
Sarah.
Yeah,
but they call her Betty.
Betty.
Because that's what they think she is.
A Betty, yeah.
A Betty, yeah.
Which I guess is a surfing term?
I guess.
Is that like how the Australians call women Sheilas?
Maybe. I'm not familiar with this term, but yeah, so he's kind of flirting with her. It's obviously like each other. And then the next day, he ends up lying to his parents. Now, Andrea had gotten him to agree to do...
That's right.
...a editorial, which he didn't want to do.
Yeah, about moving from the Midwest to Beverly Hills.
And so he lies to his mom and says that he's been working on it for hours and that he's going back to the library to work on it, so he's skipping dinner.
By the way, the teacher gave him a look like she wanted in his pants.
Oh, yeah, it was really creepy. And if you remember, the episode started with them playing Hot for Teacher, like an instrumental version of Hot for Teacher.
I think that's what it was. That's my speculation, but it could have been some other sort of kind of rock and roll surf song, I guess. But it sounded a lot like an instrumental for Hot for Teacher to me.
Yeah, well,
the beginning of it,
I think the
do 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 do.
Yeah, I think the teacher is hot for Brandon.
Possibly.
It's kind of creepy. So so he lies and goes off with Dylan, and I don't understand why he didn't just tell his mom, "I'm going out with my friend."
I don't know.
What the hell?
Yeah. They think nothing comes of it. Like he gets it done. I mean, not to ruin the ending for everybody, but although it's 4 years old, 5 years old at this point, but he gets his paper done. Everyone just talks about how he's studying all the time, even though he's not studying all the time. But yeah, nothing ever comes of it. It's not a problem. He still turns his essay in. It's all fine.
Right.
So I don't know why any of this happened.
Yeah, I guess they just want to illustrate that his parents are more protective than the other parents, so they have to lie to go out. But
maybe, yeah, that could be it.
I don't know, and his mom's having some kind of like weird midlife crisis through this whole episode about the fact that they moved and dad's gone and all this shit, so maybe he just didn't want to deal with her. But he goes out with Dylan, and they run into the two guys and Sarah.
Right.
I think they were going to a movie. I think that's what they were lying to go into a club. They were lying to get in somewhere, a movie, club, something like that.
Yeah.
And instead, they decide to go off with Dylan. And it's kind of funny because the two boys are asking Sarah to join them And then these other two doofuses from the beach are like, she's with us.
Yeah, we're staying here. They're drinking all the time.
She goes
stuff.
where we go. That's
right.
It's like she's not even with them.
But they own her somehow.
Right. It's really fucked up. But they all decide to go out together. So Dylan has them follow him to this fancy ass hotel.
Right.
And they act like, they're like sneaking in, like they're like, I don't know, doing some kind of ninja shit, getting over to the couches.
It was like the Mission Impossible music was playing. Do, 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 do.
And then they break into a suite and order room service.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem very realistic to me. Does it to you?
Well, how it turns out, yes, but not in reality. I mean, if you broke into a suite and ordered room service, I mean, I guess maybe because they charge it to the room, but
what if nobody's staying in the room? And if somebody is staying in the room, then how would they break in the first place?
Yeah, that's true. All of it's true.
So, anyways, it turns out that they're not really breaking in because this is where Dylan lives.
Yeah, Brandon, being the dork that he is again, I'm not about getting into trouble and, like breaking into people's places and stuff, getting thrown in jail. So he's going to go leave, and Dylan goes out there to talk to him. And then the waiter or whatever brings up the room service and talks to Dylan by name.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, and Brandon figures it out, this is where you live. And he's talk about how this is one of his parents' places, and that they're out of town all the time, so he never really gets to see them. And, he's like, it's just fun for them to think that we're doing something bad kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, basically, he's being the good guy that we know that he is from having seen him in later seasons. And trying
his character's really weird, but yeah.
It is, yeah, he is very weird. But, he's trying to give his friends a thrill, but also kind of keeping everybody safe.
Mm-hmm.
So, Brandon still is all pissy and, throws a temper tantrum and leaves anyway.
Yeah.
I don't like how he acts in this episode.
Yeah. I don't like how really any of them act at the beginning here.
And then he goes to the beach with Kelly and Brenda the next day.
And Tori Spelling, I saw her.
Yeah, Donna was there too.
She actually had one line where she says hi to Brandon, and then Brandon leaves, and then Tori Spelling says, "Oh, your brother's so cool," or something like that.
Oh, gosh, I missed that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why Kelly wanted Brenda to bring him, because she knows that Tori Spelling's into him, but I think she might be kind of into him too. It seems like.
Well, and again, we know that they're going to end up together eventually, so.
Well, yeah.
That's how our last season ended.
Yeah. I mean, they at least slept together. I don't know who knows if that relationship will stay working out, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I have faith in it.
Okay. Well, that's good.
But Kelly is a complete and utter selfish little brat.
Oh, yeah.
Who, when they decide they're leaving and Brenda says, okay, let me go get my brother, just leaves without her. Just strands them at the beach.
Just takes off.
Like, who does that?
Kelly, apparently. Yeah. Early season Kelly. She's much more snobby now than she eventually becomes.
And then...
I guess having to go to California University, that public university, really puts your ego in check.
Right. So then Brandon finds the beach bums hanging out again. And they're all drinking. Yep. And, of course, he's too cool to drink with them, which, whatever.
And they say that they wouldn't ever hang out with people from West Beverly. They don't know he goes to West Beverly. Oh. But there's a bunch of people from West Beverly there. Right. And they're like, oh, yeah, we'll stay away from those snobs or whatever.
And, Sarah's trying to offer him some of her drinking stuff. And he says no. And she's flirting with him. And she's like, I thought you liked me. And he's like, I do like you, but this isn't you.
Yeah, it hits home.
And he's like, call me, tomorrow when you're sober or something along those lines. Yeah. Then when Brenda finds him, they happen to look out and see that she is washed up on the shore. Right.
Well, she's washed up in the water.
Yeah.
She's not on the shore.
She's close to shore.
Yeah.
So she's not breathing, and he like saves her life by doing CPR and everything, which is cool.
They call the paramedics.
Yeah. So she ends up going to the hospital, and they're saying, that she's an alcoholic and, teenage alcoholic. It's kind of weird.
What's weird about it?
Well, I mean, that she could drink that much.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how old she is and when she started, but
The doctor said no one drinks that much for fun. I disagree. I see people drink quite a bit for fun.
yeah, but there's a difference between drinking a lot in one sitting at a party and drinking all day every day.
Right, but do we know that she drinks all day every day? This is the first time we saw her drunk.
Well, I think that's the implication that she drinks all the time,
Yeah.
and the doctor's saying, with the amount of damage to her liver or whatever, that she doesn't, and because they mentioned that it's winter, so it's a little colder at the beach, which obviously it would be. I don't think very many people in California even go to the beach when it's as cold as they're intimating it is.
I don't know, it was pretty crowded looking.
Well, yeah, but this is a TV show.
True.
I'm talking about reality.
Okay.
But anyway, the doctor said that her body temperature had already dropped 2 degrees, which can happen with people in the throes of severe alcoholism.
I wonder why. Like, I wish that I could ask that doctor questions. Like, I don't understand that at all.
Well, alcohol is a vasodilator. It makes you. A lot of people have the misnomer of it's cold. Let me drink some, warm myself up. It doesn't. It's a vasodilator, so it actually decreases your body temperature.
Okay. So she got colder faster.
Yes.
Okay. So, Brandon has saved her life. Yay, Brandon. And he ends up writing a paper about
The Green Room, which is
Yeah.
the name of this episode.
and what they call the being inside of the perfect wave.
Yeah, that's what the Green Room is. And he equates it to, adjusting to life in Beverly Hills, basically.
And basically saying that, he's looking for more than what's beyond the surface, and he hopes other people will look that way too. So he's just saying he's open to real relationships, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see.
Right.
He's had 2 relationships so far that have both ended in we'll probably never see them again.
Right. So, okay, so I think that's pretty much how the episode ended. Am I forgetting anything?
No, so we haven't gotten to the point where there's a bunch of different storylines going on.
Right.
Like there is now, like in the
Right.
in the shows that air now and the shows that will presumably air in next fall. There's not as many disparate storylines. Mostly we follow either Brenda or Brandon, and the other people are sort of satellites to them.
Right.
And obviously as it goes on, that changes. They become more full-fledged characters with things going on in their own lives. Because we barely see Andrea. We see Andrea in 2 different scenes, and both of which she's interacting with Brandon.
Right.
So yeah, that's
Makes
pretty much
sense.
it for this episode.